Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We so appreciate your flexibility in transitioning this to the online virtual format. While we wait for everyone to kind of get in here, we're going to play a short video so that everyone can get situated, get their audio on, all that good stuff. So sit back and enjoy.
Where you're headed depends on where you start from. When you want to make a living and make a difference, it pays to start at Rochester University. We are a Christ-centered community of learners, achievers, and believers, working together to create better lives and a better world. We're building our skills, growing our faith, and making a difference in our communities and our professions. We believe, belong, and become, fulfilling our God-given potential and heading towards a brighter future.
All right, great. Well, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Before we get things started, I did want to pass it over to our university president, Dr. Stogner, to give a brief welcome and word of encouragement. So Dr. Stogner, over to you.
Thank you, Lance. Good evening, everybody. Delighted that you took the time to be with us tonight. I know our admissions staff has got a full hour planned for you, and I don't want to take up a lot of that time because they're going to have the opportunity to share a lot of really important information with you, as well as give you the opportunity to answer any questions that you might have. But I do want to welcome you to this Rochester University experience. And talk to you a little bit about what is special about Rochester University. A lot of that you're going to find out over the course of the conversations that you have with our admissions folks. A lot of it you know already. But as you think about this choice about what college or university you want to become a part of, there's really a number of important things for you to consider. Sometimes it can feel pretty overwhelming to think about all the options that you have. And one of the things that is for sure is that there are a lot of good options available to you. And as you consider where you're going to get your education, some of the things that you should consider as you look at all of those available options is, what is the place that is the best fit for me? And when I think about Rochester University, I think it's a place where a lot of people can find a very special fit for them, kind of a custom fit in a lot of ways. We are small, and we like being small. We think that's one of the best things about us. As we have dealt with preparations for the COVID-19 crisis and the pandemic and prepared for students to come on our campus in the fall, the fact that we are small and we already have small class sizes and we already have the ability on our campus for students to distance from each other and manage their schedules and their lives in a safe manner. That's a big advantage. We don't have great big giant lecture sections with 300 or 400 students that we have to figure out a way to space out. Your classes will be much smaller than that, and the setting will be much more personal than that. And we like that. The other thing is that we're going to be invested in you. And you're not going to be just a name on a roll sheet. You're not just going to be a student number that we have in some record somewhere. You're going to be someone who we get to know personally, and you're going to get to know us personally. And because of that, we're able to invest in you in a way that a lot of other institutions wouldn't be able to do. And that investment in you will involve understanding your needs, understanding your potentials, understanding your goals, and working both inside the classroom and outside the classroom to try to help you fulfill your potential. We want you to get a great education at Rochester University, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom and other co-curricular experiences. We want you to have an opportunity to serve others and grow and develop your own potential through that service. And we want you to be able to find your calling. We hope that after you finish your education at Rochester University, you'll be able to go out and get a great job and you'll have a wonderful career. But that won't be enough for us. We want you also, in addition to finding a great career, to be able to find a sense of calling and purpose in your work life, where you fit in with God's world and with God's people and with God's self. And our goal at Rochester University is going to be to pour ourselves into you to give you the opportunity to develop your potential in that way. As you look at all those choices and you think about all those options that you have, we hope that you'll consider the opportunity at Rochester University. We hope that you'll have an opportunity to ask questions and understand and get as much information as you can to try to make this decision. And if we can help you along the way, the great admissions team that we have here will be able to help you. I'll be able to help you. And if there's anything that I can do, or if faculty members or other folks at our institution can do to help answer your questions, to help you find your way and make this tough decision, we're at your service to do that. So enjoy the rest of the presentation this evening. I look forward to meeting you in person. I can't wait to get students back on campus so that we can meet in person. And I would look forward to the day when I could get to meet you in person, both you as students and you parents that are on the call. And I look forward to that as you make that decision. So welcome again, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Lance, I'll give it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Dr. Stogner, for your time and those wise words. As we move forward tonight, we're really excited to connect with you guys on this webinar, share a bit about RU, and answer some of your questions about who we are and how you can join our community. My name is Lance. I'm an admissions recruiter here at RU. I work with students primarily in the Oakland County area, along with our traditional transfer students. I would also like to pass on this opportunity to introduce my fellow teammate.
Thank you, Lance. My name is Julianne, and I also work on the admissions team at Rochester. I work alongside students who live in the Macomb County area, and I'm very thankful that you guys chose to be here today. Whether you're a student, a parent, or a friend watching, we welcome you and we appreciate your time. Let's go to the next slide and go over a quick overview of the university and the agenda of the day. So if you take a look at your screen, you will notice the topics we will focus on today. And we will go into greater detail on each of these subject areas and hopefully answer your questions. So speaking of questions, throughout the presentation, we want to give you an opportunity to ask your questions live. We encourage you to share your questions with our co-host, Mary Sauger, and she will share those questions with us at the end. And thank you for those of you that submitted questions in the beginning. We will address those throughout the presentation and also again at the end. But feel free, something to be mindful of is your mics and your cameras will be off. So grab some popcorn, get comfortable and relax and enjoy the presentation. So let's go to the next slide and dive into an overview of the university.
Great, thank you so much, Julianne. So who is Rochester University? We are a small, liberal arts, private Christian university, and we take a holistic approach to education here. Our student body is made up of just over 1,000 students, and our average class size is about 12. So now think about what that means practically. You know, in a class that size, your professor will know your name, they'll notice if you're struggling, and they'll care enough to connect with you to ensure that you have what you need to be successful. And while our student body is small, it is increasingly diverse. We accept students from all backgrounds and faiths. Our current enrollment includes students from 20 states and 11 nations. However, most of our students do come from the Michigan and greater Metro Detroit area. Now, when it comes to our professors, we do have 30 full-time faculty members, the majority of whom hold terminal degrees in their field. So not only are they highly accomplished, but they chose to teach here. And that's because they know that they can share their expertise directly and in an involved setting with our students. On top of that, RU is located in the beautiful city of Rochester Hills. And if you haven't heard, Rochester Hills has been named one of America's safest and best cities. Rochester has a fun and active community. Our campus backs right up to the Clinton River Trail, which makes it about a 20-minute walk to downtown Rochester, which has plenty of great places to study, to work, to eat, to just hang out with friends. And it's also situated right in the heart of Metro Detroit, which is a short drive from any major league sporting events, concert venue, shopping centers, and so much more. So there's never a shortage of things to do here around Rochester Hills. If we move on to the next slide, we can talk a little bit about the RU identity. So we have a few adjectives here to describe us, but to me, what it all boils down to is one thing, and that's community. Our community here is stellar, and it's committed to building the whole student. We believe that the college education is more than just a degree. It's about helping you grow academically, socially, and even spiritually. So every single community member here on campus is committed to this mission because we know that when you pursue your vocation boldly, the world becomes a better place. So now to talk a little bit more about how our academic model prepares you to pursue that vocation, I want to pass it back to Julianne.
Thank you, Lance. So on the screen, it does say EPIC, and EPIC describes our academic philosophy here at Rochester. Your time in college really is an epic journey, and we want to be a part of your story. So throughout your time here, you will explore different options that will broaden your understanding of the world. Usually this happens in your general education courses. Next, we will prepare you for the skills you will need to serve in your neighborhood, the organization you're considering, and potential business. These are typically courses that will be directly associated to the major you choose. Next, we will integrate the knowledge that you have learned and connect it to your personal and professional life. Depending on your major, we offer different internship opportunities, research experiences, and conferences. And this really all leads into what Dr. Stogner was saying in the beginning, finding out your calling and what God has created you for. You all have unique gifts and talents that God has created you to do and that set you apart. And we really want you to not only know what those are, but use them in your time at our university and afterwards. So now let's move on to the next slide and talk about our different academic departments. So Rochester is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission, and we offer a variety of different majors in the departments and schools that are listed on your screen. Something to be mindful of is we never require you to know what you want to study right when you start. A lot of our students do choose undecided, and really you can be undecided for about 60 of your credits. So I personally changed my major 5 times, and here I am now as an admissions recruiter. So make sure you follow your passion. We would rather you invest in a career that you're passionate about rather than just choosing to choose or choosing because your parents told you to. And that's really what we discussed on the previous slide. We're constantly looking out for the interests of our students. So feel free to send a question to Mary Sauger in the chat if you're interested in a certain program and want to know more about it. But really, there's an opportunity to be a part of our honors program. So let's go to the next slide and talk about that. So our honors program is not extra work for students involved. It's really just a different type of work. We want to give our students the freedom to challenge themselves in topics they're interested in and have meaningful and thought out class discussions. The requirements for incoming freshmen are an ACT score of 27 or higher, or an SAT score of 1290 or higher. And if you're transferring into the university and you're interested in applying for our honors program, we're looking for 3.3 or higher GPA. So if you qualify for this, we invite you to fill out our online application, and you can talk to your admissions recruiter on how you can apply for this. So let's move on to the next slide and talk about our academic resources. So I'm really happy to share that our academic resources are free for all of our students. We really want to set you up for success as you transition from high school or a community college into a university. You can meet in person with tutors, or if you're like me and you choose to do your homework at 2 in the morning, we do have 24/7 online tutoring support. So there are multiple places on campus to study, from outside to inside, by yourself, with a group. So really you do have an opportunity to be successful in the manner that is best for you. We highly encourage you to take advantage of these resources throughout your academic journey, and we're here to answer the questions along the way. So now let's look about ways you can get involved on campus.
Thanks, Julianne. So I want to start with talking about our GEO programs, and GEO is actually the perfect segue from academics into student life. So GEO, or Global Educational Opportunities, is our study abroad programs, and it's one of my absolute favorite things to talk about, because I actually had the opportunity to study abroad, and what better way to learn about different cultures from around the world than to actually travel to those locations to study. So our GEO program offers short and long-term study abroad opportunities in Vienna, Costa Rica, London, the Western US, and even Uganda. And one way that RU buys into our mission to develop students holistically is that we partner with a 501c3 called Kibo Group for our GEO trip to Uganda. So the Kibo group hosts our students and teaches them all about the development work being done on the ground in Uganda. And then to support their efforts, RU opened up Kibo Corner, which is a 100% volunteer-run coffee shop in the RU Student Center, where all of the money generated there goes directly back to Uganda. And that helps fund clean water source initiatives, community sustainability practices, women empowerment movements, and so much more. It's really a great way that our students can get involved and support other cultures worldwide. Moving on to the next slide, I'd like to dive into the meat and potatoes of our student life department. So the Center for Student Life serves to connect our students to campus opportunities outside of the classroom. Here they focus on three things. The first being spiritual formation, excuse me. That includes things like volunteer opportunities, vocational guidance, and our chapel programming. I would like to dive a little bit into our chapel programming as it may be a little bit new to some of you guys listening. So our chapel is held 3 times per week. In the fall, it should be it's going down to 2 due to COVID-19. And it's really a great way for our entire community to be in the same place at one time. It looks like lots of different things. So it could be music from our student-led worship band. It could be speakers from outside organizations. It could be students sharing their experiences from overseas. It could be a traditional worship. It's really all kinds of things. But the best part about it is it's just a break from the day where you can kind of connect with other community members here on campus. The second thing that the Center for Student Life kind of heads is our student engagement efforts. And this is where your co-curricular experiences come in. So they could be in student media, we have Greek life, there's a campus puppy program, we have a performing arts or theater program that's really, really robust and gets the whole community involved, and there's so much more. But if you don't see a group that piques your interest, you actually have the opportunity to submit presentations to create clubs. So then Student Life will help you find an advisor for the group and other students who are still interested in it, so that you can create a group that'll last long past your graduation time and leave a lasting mark on the RU campus. And the final thing that Student Life heads up is our student leadership opportunities. And those are opportunities for those of you who are currently in student government or those of you who want to explore positions of leadership within our student body. Those can be things from emerging leaders, fellowship leaders, community leaders. The opportunities are really endless. And Student Life really gives you a platform to take the reins and serve our campus community directly. And then speaking of service, I would like to pass it back to Julianne to talk about our Warrior Serve program specifically.
All right, so Warrior Serve is one of the best ways to get involved on campus. Every semester we host a Warrior Serve opportunity. We invite students, faculty, staff in the local community to be a part of the day. So every opportunity looks a little different, from landscaping, checking smoke alarms, to serving the youth. But really this is an opportunity for us to come together, live our mission, and give back. I've also heard that volunteers will earn a free t-shirt, and who doesn't like free t-shirts? But really, the greater thing is you're making a lasting impact with your community and with your friends on campus. So now let's go to the next slide and talk a little more about our athletics. So if you are interested in playing a sport at Rochester and haven't connected with a coach, we have provided a way for you to reach out to them. This will allow the coaches to know you are interested in potentially being a part of their team. We are a part of the NAIA and the WAC conference, so if you have specific questions about sports, feel free to send us a question in the chat box, but we really do encourage our students to support the teams by allowing all of our current students free entrance to the athletic events on campus. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Lance, and we will talk more about living on campus versus commuting.
All right, thanks so much, Julianne. So let's start with residence life. Living on campus is, in my opinion, the best way to have the full college experience. There is a multitude of benefits for living on campus, the first and foremost being that research shows a strong correlation between living on campus and greater academic success, higher retention rates, and even higher graduation rates. This is because, you know, the on-campus resources are right there and more accessible since you're there all the time. It's also more convenient to get involved in student groups since you live right on campus and don't have to come back for meetings or anything like that. As for the breakdown of our residence halls, we do have a first-year residence hall, Alma Gatewood, for our freshmen, and then an upperclassmen residence hall, Ferndale Hoggett. They are both suite style, so what that means is you will have a roommate, and then you will share an adjoining bathroom with the room next to you with another pair of roommates. So it'll be 4 people for one bathroom, but you'll share the room with one other person. They are comparable in size to other university dorm rooms. They're pretty standard there. There is free laundry and a kitchen area on every floor, and you can even bring your own mini fridge for your dorm room, so you can keep your beverages cold right there. Moving on to the next slide, I would like to talk about our commuters. We don't want to forget you guys. Commuting students are just as valuable part of the RE community as residential students, and there is a place for you in every single building, even though you aren't living on campus. Some benefits of commuting are you get free parking. We just ask that you register your vehicle with the Center for Student Life. There are meal plan options as well, so that you can grab a bite to eat between your classes if you are on campus all day. And then campus sits on the grounds of Lake North Central Park. If you haven't been, it's an incredibly beautiful place to escape between classes. And it's, in my opinion, the best place to study on campus. You can even check out hammocks from Student Life to kind of hang out between classes there as well. We also have a group of student leaders. They're called fellowship leaders, and they are a student group designed to take a look at commuters' needs and get commuters involved with the rest of the community. So if you do choose to save a little money and live at home, just know that there is still a group whose mission it is to make your time at RU as inclusive as possible. So at this point in the presentation, we've kind of wrapped up all of our academic resources and student life organizations and opportunities. So if there's something you think we missed or you want to learn more about, feel free to send a question in the group chat box to our host, Mary Sauger, and she will send them to either I or Julianne at the end of the presentation, and we will answer those. But at this point, I would like to hand it back to Julianne to talk about the nitty-gritty admissions requirements.
All right, thank you, Lance. Let's talk admissions process. We really don't want this to be a stressful time in your life, but really a fun and exciting chance for you to move forward in next steps at the university. So I am aware that some of you may not be ready for these next steps, but it doesn't hurt to see what we're looking for down the road. So our application is still open if you are looking to attend in fall 2020. So those of you that are seniors, or maybe you're transferring from a community college, and we invite you to apply at rochesteru.edu/apply. This doesn't take much of your time. It's free, and you could even fill it out on your phone. So something we are looking for is a GPA of at least a 2.25 and a 940 or above on your SAT, or if you took the ACT, an 18 or above. If for some reason you don't meet these requirements, don't be stressed. We are willing to work with you, and we still invite you to be a part of our campus. We'll take a closer look at your scores and let you know the additional information we will need from you to get you admitted into the university. Your best bet is to talk to one of the admissions recruiters just about your next steps and move forward that way. But now let's move on to the next slide and talk about the specifics of transfer students. So here at Rochester University, you are considered a transfer student if you have 16 or more credits that transfer over towards your specific degree. We are extremely transfer friendly and can accept up to 90 credit hours. And we do have an online tool that can help you see what classes transfer over, but really you will be working with one of our transfer admissions recruiters, and they will be happy to show you what classes specifically transfer over for your given major. So to be admitted as a transfer student, we're also looking for a 2.25 GPA or higher, and you will not need any of your high school information. So now let's move on to everyone's favorite part, financial aid.
Thanks, Julianne. So I know financial aid is a lot of times anxiety inducing for a lot of families, but I just want you guys to know that we at Rochester University are here for you. We never want finances to be the reason you can't attend. So we'll work one-on-one with each of our students to make sure that it is feasible for them to attend RU comfortably. So as for the resources and how to start that process, you'll want to start by filling out the FAFSA, and that's at studentaid.gov. It is currently available for seniors, and it'll be available for juniors in October. They also have a My Student Aid app if you're looking for more of the mobile experience, so that's an option for you as well. It is free, so never fill it out on a website that's going to charge you for it. I know there are some out there. Make sure that you go to the government website where you can fill it out for free. The other ones are a scam. Once you fill it out, it's going to ask for some demographic information, some educational information, some financial information, and then it'll ask which schools you want to send it to. So that's when you're going to want to add us. Our school code is 002288. And then that'll send us your FAFSA information. And then once we receive it, we'll be able to process your FAFSA, and you'll receive an email from our Student Financial Services Office that details your award package. That'll include both institutional aid and government aid that you are offered. Seniors, if you have an award package ready for you, you're able to accept your award in the student portal. Juniors, you would get yours once you submit your FAFSA past October. Once you do get your award letter, I encourage you to refer back to studentaid.gov as it's a really good starting point for finding additional resources to help fund your education. For example, the Parent Plus loan can be found there. It's a great resource to help offset some of the remaining balance that's not covered from your award package. Moving on to the next slide, I do want to talk about some of the different types of aid you might be offered here. So there are 3 types of aid that could be on your award letter, and I do want to break it down. The first being grants, and that's your free money. And that can be offered through RU or the government. They're often need-based. You will not have to pay them back once you graduate. The second is scholarships, and that is also money you don't have to pay back, but these are often based on merits or achievements that you achieved in either community college or high school, or just in your life in general. We'll go over some scholarship options that RU has in the upcoming slides. But I did want to touch on a platform. It's called Raise Me that we just recently joined. And that gives you the opportunity to earn micro scholarships, or you might have already earned them once you fill out a profile. So if you go on to Raise Me, it's going to ask you some of the classes you took, the grades you got, some of the things you did, and it'll kind of break down some of the micro scholarships you've earned. So that can be anything from getting $100 for earning an A in geometry, or getting $1,000 for attending a Warrior Day. So once you fill out that profile, it'll add up all the micro scholarships that you got and give you a minimum scholarship amount that you'll earn here at RU. Oftentimes your scholarship package is much larger than that, but it'll give you a base amount that you've already earned, even if you don't think you've earned anything. We also do accept outside scholarships. So if you do find some of those, we'll just give them to us and we'll add them onto your award package as well. Then I did want to touch on loans, and I know for a lot of families, loans are the last resort because this is money that you're going to have to pay back once you graduate. However, we have started a program this year for all incoming freshmen. It's called the Loan Repayment Assistance Program. It acts as a safety net so that you can feel confident about taking out those loans and not be scared on how you're going to pay them back post-graduation. We will go into more specifics on this program at a later slide, but I just wanted to put a coat hanger in your mind there right now. Moving on to the next slide, we'll go into some of the academic scholarships that you could be offered here at RU. So this is our Freshman Academic Excellence Awards. These are based on your high school GPA and SAT or ACT scores. You don't have to apply for them. They're automatically added onto your award package once we receive your scores and GPA. And then you just look on the matrix to see what you've earned. So let's say that you got a 1250 on your SAT. You'd look at the 1250 row, and then let's say you got a 3.5 in high school. You move over to the one that includes that GPA, and then where it intersects, that's your scholarship that you've earned. So you'd get $8,500 per year, as long as you keep the 3.30 renewal GPA. So you'll see all those renewal GPAs at the bottom of that matrix there. If you have taken multiple SATs or ACTs, excuse me, we'll take the highest one to scholarship yet. And then we do have a few academic achievement awards that can be earned if you had a higher test score but a lower GPA. We haven't shown them there, but it is an option for you if you fall into that category as well. Moving on to the next slide, we have the scholarship matrix for our transfer students. Since we don't ask for your ACT or SAT score, it's just based off your transfer GPA. So let's say you had that same 3.5 GPA, you'd look over next to it and see that $6,000 that you get each year, and then the renewal GPA next to it, which is the 3.4. So you can read that table there as well. We also have a couple other scholarships available to our students. If you're the child of a minister, you'll get $2,000 per year. If either of your parents were an alumni, you'll get $1,000 per year here. We have a transfer scholarship that we offer to our transfer students, and that's $2,000 per year. If you're transferring in over 15 credits, that's automatically added onto your account. You don't have to apply for that or anything either. If you're a high school student and you went to a Christian academy or Christian high school, you'll get $500 per year. And then if you are enrolled in RU with another, let's say a sibling or a parent or a cousin, you get a family tuition discount of $1,000 per year for being concurrently enrolled there. At this point, I would like to throw it back to Julianne to talk about our loan repayment assistance program now that we've talked about our scholarships.
Thank you again, Lance. So I am personally really excited to announce that we are offering the RU Pledge to all incoming freshman students. This pledge is our loan repayment assistance program, as Lance mentioned in a previous slide, and it's at no cost for our students and their families. We are really making this investment because we believe in the value of a RU degree, and we're mindful that it is scary thinking about taking out loans, eventually paying them back, and wondering if it's really worth it. And some degrees like education, social work, ministry aren't high-paying jobs right out of graduation. So, however, those fields need people, and they need people who are passionate about them, who feel called for that career. And we do not want you pursuing a career for the money or because you feel pressure to, but rather because of your passion and your heart behind it. The pledge really is simple. Once you graduate from Rochester University, you get a job where you're working at least 30 or more hours a week. And if you're not making at least $45,000 annually, we have provided a way to help you get assistance with repayments. So this will cover Parent Plus loans as well as other loans. And the checks will vary depending on how much you're making annually, but really this relieves the stress of paying back your loans right away if you're not making a high income right out of graduation. And it allows you that safety net of actually pursuing a career that you're passionate about and not just because of the money. So if we do go to the next slide, you will notice that there are a few student testimonials of students who are actually going to attend the campus in the fall, which we're really excited that, as you can see, the RU Pledge has already provided relief and they haven't even started courses here. This is really giving our students to dream big, to go after careers that they're passionate about, that God has called them for. This is actually one of the best parts of my job, just knowing that this is something that can make a lasting impact on students for years to come. So now I want to talk more about cost. So we will go to the next slide. As part of our Christian mission, we really want to make sure that RU is affordable for all. That's why we provided opportunity for academic scholarships, athletic scholarship, and even outside scholarships, as well as investing in the RU Pledge. Your best bet is really connecting with one of your admissions recruiters, sharing more of your story so we can assist you and help you with your financial aid process. Don't let the initial cost scare you. There are opportunities to lessen the overall cost, and we are more than willing to help. So now let's go to the next slide and talk about next steps.
All right, thanks, Julianne. So this is kind of a general overview of the next steps. Wherever you're at in the process, you can kind of see where you got to go next. And I know Julianne has touched on it, but your first step is really to just connect with your admissions recruiter. I cannot drive that home harder. We're really here to help you get through the process and make it as seamless as possible for you, help you out with financial aid. We know a lot of these things can be scary to some families and students coming in, and we want to help you every step of the way. Moving on to our next slide, you'll see all of our beautiful faces who you can connect with. If you don't know who your admissions recruiter is, feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we'll connect you with your right person to help you walk you through the admissions process. So that's what we got for you tonight during our webinar. If you want to ask any more questions on things you don't think we've covered or you want to know more about, I invite you to put those in the group chat box and send them to Mary Sauger, who will then disseminate them to Julianne and I for question and answer session. In the meantime, while we wait for those questions to come in, we did have a few questions from the registration form that you guys filled out already. So we will start with those. So my first question here is, will RU hold classes in the fall due to COVID-19? So yes, great question. We do plan on having classes face-to-face following social distancing guidelines. The small class size that we have allows us to be flexible, which is a great benefit for this environment. I know Dr. Stogner kind of touched on that already. Students are not often in situations where they are in large groups of people. And we are also giving students time slots for the dining hall so that they are at 50% capacity like all other Michigan restaurants. So they have the same safety standards there. Our senior leadership team has really been planning and preparing rigorously during this time. We're really prepared to have students back in a safe manner and still do the face-to-face in the fall. Great question, thanks.
Awesome. I'm actually going to answer another question, which is, what are some of the on-campus employment options? That is a great question. And we do offer on-campus employment. We do have work study and an opportunity for you to apply to the campus. Your best bet is reaching out to the admissions recruiter so we can send you that application to fill out, and then HR will reach out to you and you can see a full list of the positions that are available. So really different employment options that are available are things like working in the cafeteria, working in the tutoring lab, and things like that. Also, our cafeteria and Kibo Corner, a lot of times Kibo Corner students will volunteer for that for credit, but really we do have opportunity for students who need to be working on campus, but also who just want to apply for a campus position.
Great, thanks. So I have one here that says, what is the nursing program like? Great question. So nursing is actually one of our most in-demand programs here at RU. It's an exceptional program, and you'll start off as a pre-nursing major. And once you complete your prereqs, you'll apply to the nursing school at that point. However, if you are a junior listening now, we do offer a direct admit program for nursing to high school seniors who wish to pursue a nursing degree. So if you get selected for the direct admit program, you won't have to apply for the nursing school at the end of your prereqs or second year or whatever that is. You'll automatically be admitted. If that's something you're interested in, I recommend that you start working with your admissions recruiter now to go through that direct admit process. Great question.
Awesome. Another question we do have is, how do the chapel credits work? Which due to COVID-19, it may look a little different, but in the past, what we've done is met on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, but we're transitioning more to Tuesdays and Fridays. There'll be more details on whether we're meeting outside or if we're meeting on campus, but really we have a plan set in place for you to hear from local community members, different church congregations virtually.
All right, just waiting to see if any more questions rolled in. I do have a question here that says, what is a Crimson Day? So Crimson Day is the final step of the admissions process. Crimson Day is your first part of an orientation series at Rochester. So it's your summer orientation. This is for students who are 100% committed and ready to attend Rochester in the fall. You'll get critical information on resources available to you throughout campus and get to meet current, future, and future students along with some of your professors. So that's a really great way to start making those connections there. Great question.
All right.
I do also have a question here. It says, I currently go to Oakland University. Can I apply to the nursing program immediately, or do I have to attend classes for a semester prior to applying? They will have to, so since you're transferring into nursing students, you'll have to wait for the fall 2021 cohort. So Mary Sauger, who's our co-host, she actually handles all of our transfer nursing students. So I recommend reaching out to her to see what prereqs you would still need to do before the fall 2021 cohort there. All right, Julianne, do you have any more questions?
I'm looking now. So another question we have is, when will you know if the classes are online or face-to-face for the fall? So that is a great question, and thank you for asking that. As of right now, we fully anticipate for the classes to be online. We're working our best. If there is any additional information about the government saying that we have to be fully online, but as of right now, we have put the precautions in place for us to have classes online, not online, face to face. But once we do get any update, we will make sure to tell you guys, especially those who have committed to the university. We will be in communication with you. But really, we have set all the precautions to make sure you guys are safe, that we are able to meet in person, and we are fully ready to be hybrid or online if that were to be the case.
All right, it looks like that is all the questions that we have. If your question didn't get answered, feel free to shoot any of the admissions recruiters an email, and we'll answer your questions that way and connect with you so we can get you going there. But it was so great to connect with all of you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'll consider being a warrior at Rochester University in the future, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks so much.